What's up, everybody? It's Steven and Taylor from the Gain Bros. We're back here again with another video. This video today is about the immune system and how it kind of works when we exercise.
So with the immune system, we have two different systems. We have the innate system and then we have the adaptive system. So the innate system is kind of cool, as in it's like just a general immune system, and this is what's mostly going to be adapted from exercise. So this is going to be non-specific immunity. So that means that this is just general practice. So this is going to be when we have physical changes in our body and hormonal changes. So this could be like inflammation or increase in body temperature due to a pathogen being in our system. Another thing that's really important is viral resistance. So when a blood cell gets infected by a pathogen, that cell, using interferons, uses chemical stimulants to tell the other cells and makes them adaptive so that they do not get infected by the infected cells. So the other one that we have is adaptive immunity. This one's pretty cool as it's very similar to how vaccines work. So adaptive immunity involves the secretion of antigen-specific antibodies. So that means that it has a lock and key component. So when the cell attaches to the antigen of the pathogen, it immediately phagocytizes and eats it and destroys it, and so that we cannot get infected by it anymore. So the two components that we have of that in the general sense is beta and T cells. These attach only to specific pathogens that you come in contact with, and after they come in contact with, they form memory T cells and they form immunity so that we can no longer get infected with the pathogen. So we have 4 steps. First step is going to be the tissue response. This follows the viral resistance, and it releases histamine and hairpin to drive inflammation and an increase in body temperature so we can fight off the pathogen with a general sense. Step 2 is the inflammatory response, and this increases our blood flow and increases our white blood cell migration by vasodilation and blood permeability. Our third step is the white blood cell response. This follows immediately after we have our inflammatory response. And this is going to be when neutrophils are in first contact with the pathogen, and then monocytes will come in contact and form macrophages, which will also eat the pathogen and break it apart, and so it will also eat the debris so we can no longer pass that pathogen on and will no longer become sick. And then the fourth step is scar tissue, and then it's formed by the myofibrils.
So how does all this relate to exercise? Well, data suggests that moderate exercise enhances the immunosurveillance, which is kind of how your immune system enforces, kind of acts like the cops of your body. It also enhances the host protection from upper respiratory tract infections, such as COVID-19, while heavy exertion by endurance athletes leads to transient immunosuppression and an increased risk of infection. So according to the researchers, moderate exercise has been defined as habitual, which is at least 3 continual weeks of near daily brisk walking. So just a quick walk around a couple blocks would be suffice. So habitual moderate exercise has the ability of regulating the immune system, and it also delays the onset of the deterioration of the immune system. So through exercise, we can sort of skip some of those steps that Steven was talking about in the immune response, because our bodies are already doing that vasodilation and the permeability of the blood vessels. Research has shown that prolonged periods of intensive exercise can depress the immune system. One of the recent studies that we found reported that T cell numbers and thymic output were drastically reduced in elite athletes, and their immune system closely resembled that of an elderly population. So this means that your collegiate athletes, your pro athletes, they're not going to have as strong of an immune system as, say, your average Joe that's just going to the gym trying to stay healthy.
So what would be the best way to increase your immune system?
So the best way to increase your immune system would be, according to research, acute exercise. This has been proven to be a simple and economical method to improve vaccine responses, and also the implementation of such methods in at-risk populations like your elderly or your obese, who could be at an increased risk for upper respiratory infections like COVID 19, like bronchitis, like any of those other nasty diseases. And these are going to play a big role in public health, like we can kind of see right now.
So that'll conclude our video on the immune system. Thank you for watching. If you don't mind, click up here, see our past video, and like and subscribe.